Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roll to Talk, where you gotta roll to socialize. That's right. I'm attempting to bring back the bad lines for the catchphrases of this podcast from the first season. I will find something.
I think they're great.
It works. It totally works.
Yeah, thank you. I think that one's probably the best one out of everything. So, perfect. Lock it in. But yes, I am one of the co-hosts, Dice&Autism. We also have Witty Witch. Say hi, Witty.
Hi, Witty.
And also, we have another guest for our seasons of like the horror and the pulp stuff. This is one of my favorite creators because in the early years of D&D and TTRPG, TikTok and everything, Lauratutu, everybody, say hi, homie.
What up, yo?
Yeah! Tell us a little bit about yourself, homie, what you do and everything, and all the cool stuff.
Yeah, no, you can call me Laura or Tutu or Lauratutu. My pronouns are she, they, and I am a multi-award-winning Vampire the Masquerade performer, producer. I still do all of the other games, and 9 times out of 10, if someone just needs something kind of weird, they'll hit me up and I'll show up on a stream somewhere.
Hells yeah. Oh, Lordy. And
speaking of the early days of TikTok, if I can just say, there's a transition you did for like a Witcher type character. You use Witcher music for sure. That plays on my head and repeat all the time.
I do occasionally dabble into the cosplay, but I'd probably call it more of a closet cosplayer because I don't have the money or the mental fortitude to make my own shit.
Definitely.
Heavy on the mental fortitude.
Yeah. Oh, yep. See, I just
picked this hobby on purpose.
Yeah, right. I decided to do this as like a side gig. The fuck.
Yeah. Was I under duress? Like all the time, I have to ask that question. So yeah.
I swear to God. Yeah.
It is the magic and also the weird power it has on people at times. But
for real.
But yeah, if you guys couldn't tell and everything, today's episode is we're talking about a little bit of a masquerade that we all have to play. A very vampiric one, if one will have to say. It's Vampire the Masquerade and everything. So yeah! Oh, God. So, Vampire the Masquerade is sort of like the almost third well-known TTRPG. I would say, like, Pathfinder is like the close second. Vampire is the third, and like then you have like Daggerheart somehow like shooting up to like top 5 almost.
Honestly, if you had to make me pick, I'd say the ones that people are gonna probably, even folks that don't actually actively play tabletop games, D&D, Pathfinder, Vampire, Call of Cthulhu.
Yes,
that's what I was gonna like, especially like Cthulhu and Vampire. Like those are the top 2 horror ones. Easy.
Those are the big spoopy ones.
The big spooks. Yeah. And with Vampire the Masquerade and everything, you do have a set of dice that you do roll, but you don't roll the dice that you normally do for your D&D or TTRPGs. No, you roll the D10s and everything. Those really cool, like, spiral ones and everything. They're just so pretty to do and everything. And the cool thing about that, there is a hunger mechanic, because as a vampire, you gotta feed. And depending on how hungry you are, you roll a certain amount of your hunger dices and everything. And there's just so many cool things about VTM. What would be your favorite aspects of Vampire the Masquerade?
I mean, honestly, you said it right away, the hunger mechanic. You've got this... Playing a vampire in Vampire the Masquerade, you are dead. You are a dead thing. You are no longer human. You are a dead creature. You are a creature of the night. Yep. The thing that gives you the power and the ability to do these preternatural things is something that is known as your beast. It comes in many different flavors. I've seen people who make it sound like their sire. So if you're working with your storyteller and you have that backstory, you know what that relationship is like. 9 times out of 10, you'll find people who will use the voice of their beast and the voice of their sire interchangeably. But that is the thing inside of you that is telling you you need to hunt and you need to kill and you need to drink blood. And the powers, the abilities, the disciplines that you have as a vampire, oh my God, it's a baby. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's a baby.
She has a beast voice all her own.
Mother.
Mother.
But that beast is A, what gives you your power, but B, what will pull you farther and farther away from the humanity that you are so desperately clinging to. And the more you pull from those powers, the bigger chance you have of losing that humanity and slowly falling prey to the beast. The tagline, the through line is, we love Vampire the Masquerade, a game of personal and political horror. The personal horror is watching that humanity slip away the further and further you go down that road. Because in the end, the beast always wins. It is not, and honestly, I think that's one of my favorite things about Vampire the Masquerade. You're not going to get a happy ending with this story, y'all. You're really not. You can potentially survive, but at what cost? At what cost?
Indeed. Like, my experience of playing with Vampire the Masquerade, it's very much sort of like a doomed story.
Oh yeah.
You're just trying to like salvage the pieces to be like, hey, we got a little bit of a gingerbread house. We made it out of like off-brand crumbled ginger, and like we have like the maybe stale like gummies and everything.
Yeah, you are scratching out an unlife in whatever city you've been dropped into.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a fight. It is an uphill fight the whole time. And if that is your bag, you're going to have a great time. If you are expecting a happy ending, I don't think you're going to have a great time playing Vampire.
Well, like, I love what you said about like you can survive, but at what cost? And I think the implied piece there is at the cost of your humanity.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think it's very interesting how like Vampire plays with that, as well as like Call of Cthulhu with the sanity mechanic. And how each of those plays into like the classic horror genres of Frankenstein, Dracula, etc. Like,
yeah,
because so many of those are dealing with what is humanity and what does that mean.
it's the horror of the loss of self.
Yeah. They've done, the developers have done such a great, and the writers have done such a great job of like implementing that in the mechanics of like all of the stuff and how you build it, especially with the lore and like how you are like choose your like your predator style, like all the banes you have to do and everything, and also with like what generation you're from in Vampire the Masquerade, you're sort of like stuck in forever in that period that you have been like embraced in, pretty much, right?
I mean, there are ways to change that. There are ways that you can increase your generation. There are ways that will get you blood hunted. Because even monsters have rules.
Indeed. And speaking of rules, the masquerade and everything, the tagline, the title of the game. So, what's the masquerade, pray tell?
Well, the masquerade is, we as vampires, you are still required to survive in the human world. And humans may be weaker, humans may be breakable, but there are more humans than there are vampires. And the thing about humans is when you get a large group of them together and you get them scared, things tend to blow up. And that is no different in Vampire the Masquerade. So the Masquerade is what needs to be protected in order to make sure that the humans don't realize that there are things that go bump in the night. And you have some vampires who find that, like, that is their baseline. That is what needs to be upheld at all times. There are some vampires who don't give a fuck. Oh, can I swear? Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
You're
Shit.
so allowed to swear.
You're
Okay.
I gotta remind everybody, the new guest that comes in, that they're allowed to swear.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 on Can I Swear?
Listen, it's a toss-up sometimes, but it's
all good.
Yeah. The Masquerade is what helps, to an extent, can help you survive.
I was like, one question I want to ask is something you said a little bit ago, is like the horror is the loss of self, and you mentioned like the beast voice and the sire voice. I've only played like once or twice with Vampire, so I've not had a chance to really sink in to the mechanics and the characters. But is there a piece of like your vampire sire, whoever created you, basically telling you what to do? And so is that horror also the loss of autonomy?
Technically, yeah. When a vampire is first created, you have to consume the blood of your sire when you are at death's door in order to make that transition and become fully undead. The thing about vampire blood for humans and other vampires, it can be incredibly addicting. And then you butt up against this lovely little thing called a blood bond.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's so messy. Yeah, but there's a level of loss of autonomy and loss of self when it comes to that as well. 9 times out of 10, when a childa, depending on how you flavor it, is first created, they're gonna have that first initial blood bond with their sire, and that is probably one of the most toxic things in the game. You are your whole self when that blood bond is acted is dedicated to pleasing the person that you are bonded to. Now it does peter off after a while. I believe you have to consistently take blood. I can't remember the exact timeline of it, but you have to be consistently consuming the blood of another vampire for that bond to remain active. There are also, different flaws that can make it even more interesting as far as character type goes. But yeah, the blood bond can definitely add to that loss of self and loss of autonomy.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I was also gonna say there's also like diablerizing someone.
Yeah, that's how you change your generation, homie.
Yep, that is right. I forget about that.
Yep. Diablerie, also known as the forbidden slurp. The forbidden juice box. Yeah, so Diablerie. Diablerie comes along when you decide that you want to consume another vampire, and not just consume their blood, but the thing that makes it forbidden, the thing that makes it so dangerous is that at the end, once you are taking those last drops, you are also consuming that vampire's soul, and they're gonna fight you on it. You have to make a resolve roll in order to succeed on that. And if you do succeed, you are going to be marked for it. Anyone who has a very particular discipline that allows you to see into the soul of a person will see that you have diablerized someone. And if you're in a Camarilla city, you're dead.
Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, if you don't succeed, you don't really get anything special or fancy. You could potentially get some weird little side effects. It also depends on the vampire that you're diablerizing. Ask me how I know.
So Laura, how do you know?
I've seen it. This shit's messy as hell.
Lordy. Yeah, because from what I understood from like Diablerie, if you do fail your resolve, you sort of like your mind and soul gets kind of like replaced by the person that you were. You
can. It very well can. Depends on how powerful the vampire you're trying to diablerize is. So if you're trying to suck down a Methuselah and you lose that fight, buddy, good luck.
Definitely. Yeah, it's so interesting when they have so many things in the game of like aspects of like feeling like and clinging on to be a normal person, and yet when you do those acts and you take the step back and out of the mind of your desperate kindred, it's like this is still like a horrifying monstrous thing to do, but this is like the only thing I can do to feel like a human. There is a great tragedy and messed up horror with it. That is always something that's fascinated with me.
And when it comes to the hunger mechanic, the only way that you can fully slake your hunger is by killing a human, which leads to things like remorse rolls and further loss of humanity.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned the resolve and remorse rolls. Like, what are some of the other like stats and skill, like basically like the D&D translation of stats and skills that are like your favorite things to play with?
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
Here we go.
You guys know me from the D&D world. I'm a barbarian main. I'm a fighter main at heart. So if you give me that strength and brawl or that strength and athletics, I'm gonna throw a tanker truck.
Glorious.
I'm gonna throw half a freight train if I can.
Hells yeah.
But yeah, you've got I like, honestly, like, we love D&D, we love the mechanics, we love your skill sets, we love your abilities. Vampire lets you break that down even further between your social, your mental, and your physical skills. Everything from craft. So maybe at some point you are an architect. You've got medicine, you've got finance, you've got technology. So it really lets you dig into what your character, what your PC is focused on, what you're good at.
Yeah. Yeah, it is always something that is quite interesting to see how, like, you do feel that customized human ability of, like when building a character, you can do the specialized, jack of all trades, or sort of like, meh, which was always interesting to see when it's not kind of like, hey, roll for these stats and everything. They just give you that set amount of, like, skill trees that you can do, and that does make your brain tick of, like, all right, what these skills do reflect on the backstory and with the character in general and what they have done to become the kindred and stuff. Because
Exactly.
I will always play Brujas or Nosferatus because I love me an Angie boy, and I also love a tragic like monster boy as well and everything. So I will always build something that is like either the super selfie one or it's just like I'm so Angie, I'm gonna punch somebody and I'm just about to like just moonwalk all over, just like yeah.
Okay. Speaking of, like, you know, you playing a Bruja, and then Laura, I am already blanking on which one you said was your clan that you made.
Gangrel tends to
That's
be
right,
my
yes.
go-to.
But, like, again, I've only played this like once or twice, and I played as a Ventru, and like it was everything I want out of vampires. It was the fancy lad vampire.
Yeah.
So with that, like, what is it about the Gangrel that like you like the best? What are the other clans that are cool? Like, what are the clan dynamics in this game that are fun to play with?
Yeah. I mean, you've got, what I find interesting is that you've got a lot of different clans that can also overlap really well, which can lead to some really interesting coterie dynamics. So I'd say the ones that tend to be more of the social builds could be your Ventru, your Toreador, even your Bruja. Because a lot, you can do like the big Angie punk rock kid, but you can also do, they were at one point known as the Philosopher Kings. So you can also have someone who is scholarly, who is powerful, and who is charismatic in that way. For the Gangrel, the line tends to be that they are more in tune with their beast than other clans. They are known as the Ferals, the Barbarians, the Outsiders, the Outlanders. So the vibe is very much like trying to walk the path with your beast as opposed to shunt it into the darkness, which is a very interesting tightrope to walk for me.
Yeah. The clans have always been interesting because I know they've always like said like, oh, these are sort of like based on like the all sorts of vampires you've seen in media and everything, like Nosferatu, based on literally the movie Nosferatu. Count Olaf and everything. And all that.
I mean, Clan Toreador is literally Lestat de Leoncourt.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh,
it's Lestat.
God. It is Lestat.
He's extra. He's pretty. He gets obsessive. Have you ever seen a Toreador go in on their fixation?
Oh, that is so true. God. Now we need to get. Now I want to see the cast of Interview with the Vampire played VTM, and I need to see.
You're just gonna.
And see, like, my brain is like, okay, so all of the vampires in Castlevania, which clan are they part of? And then like sinners, where do they fit to?
Oh, I'll tell you right now. Remick is a Tzimisce who at one point diablerized a Toreador, or vice versa.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Actually, no. I changed my mind. He's a Toreador that diablerized a Tzimisce, and that's why he can do the big creepy claws because he's got vicissitude.
Oh God. Oh, definitely. Oh, that would be so
I stand
cool.
10 toes down on that.
Yeah. No.
I like that.
That is such cool. Something that's always like fascinating with me because there are two clans that are sort of like considered the black sheep of the family, the outcast. There's the catifs, which are basically the ones that do not have a clans and everything. They have
the catifs.
The catifs, yeah, that's right. The catifs, they don't have a clan and everything, even though when they've been embraced. And there's also the thin blood, which everyone freaks the fuck out in VTM lore because that is like the prophecy of the apocalypse for the vampire because the blood has been diluted so much they no longer are considered like actual vampires, but they can still like be in the day, have a normal life, and like still do these cool things and like have none of it. And it's like cool to see the fact there's like a new wave of generation that's sort of like improving the flaws and like is finding a new path to regain their sense of humanity that they lost. But everybody is so scared because they're so entrapped in their own game of the masquerade. It's like they've sort of like built their own fort of like, no girls allowed. What are you doing? No.
Well, that's the thing about playing a Thin Blood. It can make for a really interesting chronicle story, but in order to survive in a city run by full-blooded kindred, depending on what sect runs the city, they might come after you purely for the notion of being Thin Blood, because you've got those who believe fully and wholeheartedly that the Thin Bloods, also termed the Duskborn, are the heralds of Gehenna, which is the vampire apocalypse.
Yeah.
So at that point, what do? Do you go into hiding? Do you try to mask yourself as fully human the best you can? Or do you take the chance and find a way to, again, bump that generation up? Because you still have Diablerie available to you. And that is the only way for a Thin Blood to become a full-blooded vampire.
Dang.
See, this is why you've got so many awards and you're critically acclaimed, because that is some big brain stuff that I didn't think about before and everything. That my brain just like exploded into a galaxy here with that new info that just got brain blast into me. Glorious. Oh man, that is so cool. Yeah. So with like the mechanics of VTM and everything, like getting the high success numbers and everything, like we've already talked about like the humanity, like the hunger and everything. And like there are two things that I found super interesting: the willpower and also messy crits and everything, which
I love a messy crit. You're going to get what you want.
Exactly.
Probably not in the way you wanted it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Willpower is basically kind of like the nice little like advantage you can do for yourself, even D&D terms, but you get to roll like extra dices. You just have like a set amount like each per day, and you can do that by gaining. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, with willpower, say you've got a strength and brawl roll, you're trying to break down a door, but the dice pool ain't having it. You can burn your willpower to re-roll some of those dice and potentially up the total to get to what you need to do. But yeah, willpower will protect you from things like going into frenzy if you're confronted by fire or one of your banes. So again, it's the kind of thing that ties into that humanity, ties into being able to keep control of yourself as a vampire who's got this like angry, hungry thing burrowing around in their chest.
Yeah. And then with messy crits, like we said, you'll get what you need very well, but it's going to be so bad because you let your beast very much take over for that second, and you're just like, Mom, Dad, I flew up a little bit.
It's very much like the you get the critical,
yeah,
but you do it the beast's way. And that is probably going to leave some questions to be answered.
Oh, yeah. And then you'll have to, like, work hard to, like, try to, like, make sure nobody who's normal that asks, like, how were we able to do that? It's like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Obfuscate. It's I always find when, like, a game kind of like says we'll just like design something to like we'll give you what you want and just like but we're also just gonna be like not punish but just like remind you you're so goddamn powerful that everyone else is literally twigs. It is just ugh. And that's also something that's really reflected in like the abilities you can do for like your kindred and everything and all that, like with like potence and like with even like blood sorcery, presence, fortitude, dominate. They're so goddamn great and cool, but the risk of them when they fail is just like, oh.
Yeah. It's that risk reward system of, do I want to clear the way with this power that the beast has given me and run the risk of either A, breaking the masquerade, or B, breaking myself?
Yeah. And also, speaking of, since like VTM is like, you can like make your own things and stuff, but it has its own established lore and rules that you kind of have to play in the book.
It's big. It's a big old lore. There's so much lore, and there's specific lore for specific cities. Because and honestly, I think that's one of my favorite things is that you will have different, depending on the sect, the Camarilla, who are the ones who are most locked in with upholding the masquerade. You've got the anarchs, who are generally effective until they get what they want and then they don't know what to do about it.
As an anarch main, this is like, it hurts, but it's true.
Am I wrong?
You caught the car, now what?
Yeah, exactly. And then the Sabbat, who don't give a goddamn.
They don't. Yeah. It is always kind of like fascinating to see with all of like I was going to say sectors, like the systems, I guess, like faction systems, how they're all parts of like the extremes and everything. And if they just sort of like meld together and like build the bridges and kind of like, hey, let's fuse these and it's all work out. But they're just so set in their different ways. It's just
No, because that's the thing. Once you are turned, you are calcified in that moment. Your best qualities and your worst qualities are there for eternity.
Yeah. Because with you, Witty, since you were playing a Ventrue and everything, I'm going to assume that you were like in the Camarilla and everything. So what was that aspect as like coming in as a new player, playing within the rules of like the faction for like the like, I guess like the bad guys per se?
Yeah. I was so lucky because I came in as a guest player to a running stream. I believe it was New Orleans by Night. And so I had been given a Google Doc, and so every like lore question I just had to like vamp and buy time until I could find the line in the Google Doc that I needed. So I got really lucky. I basically had the lore fed to me through a tube. But yeah, I mean, it was great fun because like I really like playing these characters that are not the best of people, but have a vested interest in like the order of things. I think they're very fun to play. And so like Ventrue, like even when I was like going through, I was never going to play anything else that like I was asked to play a Ventrue. And as I read through all of the different like clans and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, no, Ventrue's what I would have picked anyway.
Yeah, I will always go anarchs because there is a sort of more lax freedom when it comes to it. It's basically just like, hey, don't let people know that you are a vampire. Just like use your common sense and also fuck everything. But they do have that big flaw of like, what do we do now that we've burned down the buildings? I don't know. Want to get some beers? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like The Incredibles. Like the building was coming down anyway, and it's like you burned down a building, and it's like it was coming down. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Laura?
No, I do find the anarchs particularly interesting because they're meant to be like the new generation of vampires.
Yeah.
The elder vampires, and when I say elder, I literally mean elder. Are set in their ways. They understand the way that they think things in the night are meant to work. Most of them without any care to how things have played out in the modern age, because we're talking vampires who were turned pre-Civil War, pre-Revolutionary War, in the old world, that kind of thing. So they have no knowledge and have no care to gain the knowledge of how things are meant to work in the modern age. And 9 times out of 10, when they are presented with the younger vampires, you will be used as fodder. When the Second Inquisition comes knocking, or the Sabbat tries to force an incursion through, the younger generations will always be thrown onto the front lines in the hope that the older bastards in the back will continue to survive. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does sound very familiar. Yeah, because especially when you look at sort of like, what was the name for like the high guard of like the Camarilla? It's like the glass something. It was some
Ivory Tower.
The Ivory Tower, yes. The special elite vampires that actually runs everything. That not even the prince is allowed to like join, which always fascinates me.
Also, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to see a Camarilla movie in action, go watch a John Wick film. It's John Wick.
Actually, yes.
It's so valid, but it's just so funny.
It's John Wick. It's a John Wick movie, guys.
It is. It is. Now I have to like go to like Keanu Reeves and say, hey, can you make a new like Vampire AU version of John Wick where you're just like in the vampires game and everything, please?
My thing is like what's coming to mind for me is like the Camarilla is like the Volturi from Twilight. The Anarchs is like the vampires in True Blood, and I guess that's the other ones.
The Sabbat. Oh God, what's the movie? I think it's called Near Dark.
Oh yeah.
That's a Sabbat movie. Maybe Lost Boys, like a sprinkle. Because they're all just kind of looking to like bite people and like bring people into the fold, which is kind of how the Sabbat run. They just want more vampires. Yeah. The Sabbat are very much like terrifying in the fact of they're just like, if we're all vampires, you're coming along with us. They're vampire supremacists. Just full stop. That's why you got to be very, very careful when you're playing a Sabbat game.
Yep. Yeah, and also, this is probably a good transition to talk about that. With Vampires the Masquerade, it's sort of like your very first adult, big, serious role-playing game. And that
it can be, yeah.
It can be, and that you have like the measures you did for like your other like lighthearted fantasy adventure game with the safety tools. You need to bring that up to like a freaking billion to make sure everyone is good with just like all the subject matters that they're in and stuff.
Yeah. It can get into some really dark, really awful places, which makes those safety tools all the more important. Making sure that you've got people at your table who will have those open lines of communication, especially when things start to get really, really heavy. Because it's, like I said, it is a game of personal and political horror. And those safety tools allow you to dive into that horror in a way that is cathartic rather than damaging.
Definitely. Were you going to say something, Witty?
I was not.
Okay.
Mostly I was just going to ask the question you just asked, so.
Oh, yeah. Hey, great minds think alike. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's very interesting to see the great gentleness and care when someone does with like a Vampire the Masquerade. I feel like you can like sort of like measure a person with their storytelling and their player skills on how they maneuver a game like Vampire the Masquerade and everything, since it's very much kind of like a higher skill game to like be more emotionally aware of your players and like your DM storyteller. Dungeon Masters is trademarked by Wizards of the Coast and everything, so it's storyteller for sorry.
Well,
and like yeah, well, go ahead.
I think you've got a good point there, because like D&D is for a lot of people the gateway game, and so it's very easy to just play heroics in D&D or just murder everything with no consequence. That's also an option.
That also happens sometimes.
That's also an option. But that being said, Vampire has so many more consequences just because of the fact that you're dealing with the humanity and the beast mode. Like, these are two different things that are at war. So, like, yeah, Dice, you're right, that, like, it does require a bit more skill in RP because you have to balance these two things. But also, you're not necessarily a good person.
No.
No, you're not.
And,
Also, you
know,
don't want to get into combat.
Right.
No.
Right.
If you've gotten to the point where you cannot figure your way out of combat, you're already kind of fucked.
Pretty much. It's basically like two goddamn nuclear bombs clashing into each other, and you're just waiting to see, all right, which one of these waves is going to, like, conquer the other? It can go either side.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you're dealing with something older and bigger or potentially not even another vampire, you might not stand a chance. Vampires are not, in fact, the baddest things in the world of darkness.
There are not. And
No.
speaking of which, the other worlds of darkness in the set world of vampires. There are so many other things, especially like when the original developers, like White Wolf, were still a thing and everything. They had like your zombies, I think they were called mummies. You had your wraiths, your demons and everything. But like the ones that, and also you had your wizards and everything, were called Mage the Ascension. Which
Yep, you've got mages.
Yep, I have a copy of Mage of Ascension. It is so goddamn thick. It's a thick-ass boy.
Also, if I don't mention Changeling, Hannah Marie will, in fact, yell at me. So the big three that you're going to know probably more than anything else are going to be Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and Mage the Ascension. What are known as the underdogs are Wraith the Oblivion and Changeling the Dreaming. You also, if you really want to do this, if you really want to do World of Darkness on hard mode, you can play a human. You can play Hunter. You can do Hunter the Reckoning. You're going to die, but it'll be a glorious death, homie.
No
Sounds like some
questions
personal
asked, you're
experience.
definitely dead.
You're going to die. Like, I've never, there are a couple of different ways that a Hunter Chronicle can go. You're either going to become the monsters that you're hunting, or you're just going to die.
And suddenly I heard the line from Batman, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Listen. But yeah, they've got like Demon the Fallen. There's something called Orpheus. There is Mummy. There's a lot of bits that are a little. There's a reason that they don't come out that much anymore. Because this was all developed in the mid to late 90s with the edgelord crowd. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, friends. I don't have to spell it out for you. But I mean, you can also do Vampires in the Dark Ages. I do still love V20 if you're gonna go Vampire Dark Ages. That shit's fun.
Honestly, medieval vampire game sounds so fun.
Oh yeah.
There's not a lot of there are some differences with like Vampire V20 everything, and like I think like something that's like very interesting is like sort of like I can't remember. It's sort of like the style of like the character of the person that you're playing for the vampire and everything, because I chose was like the gargoyle, like the sort of like protector and like the one that kind of like watches out and everything. That's always interesting to see when the game kind of like puts up like, what is this vampire's like personality that they tried to mold from their human self? That's like, oh, that's so cool. I kind of wish they kind of like brought that for V5, but
yeah, no, the V20. There's a couple of more steps and a couple different like additions to your character sheet that kind of help you flesh things out. I do understand why they pared things down a little bit, especially when it comes to mage. You need a PhD to figure that fucking game out, guys. I swear to God.
And every wizard main says, I got it.
Oh my God.
You don't.
Right.
No, you don't. Homie, I promise you don't. Like, you'll get there eventually, but ooh, Lord. That's a game. That is. I think the source book.
Masters. This is your doctorate.
Yeah. I think the source book for Mage the Ascension is like a good 800 pages.
It is.
Oh,
It is absolute nonsense. I love you guys, but why did you do this to us? Why'd you do that?
I started looking at like the Technomancer. I was like, oh, a technology wizard spell casting? Oh, that's cool. That's like the most complicated thing I've ever seen. I was like,
I've done exactly one mage game, and I think I've hit my quota. I'm not smart enough for this, guys. I'm really not. I am not smart enough to play mage.
Well, did you have fun at least?
Oh, it was great. I had a great time.
Cool.
I had a great time. But it was a lot of storyteller. How? Storyteller,
also,
can I do this?
but what you can do pretty reliably without all that is throw a semi.
Throw a semi. You know what? You know what's simple? You build a gangrel, you bump the strength up as much as you can, you give her everything in melee, and then you throw a semi truck.
Exactly. Or, just throw roll a road and everything and just start screaming "Ri" and go "Muda muda muda." JoJo reference. Sorry.
There you go.
I had to. He's like a famous vampire. I'm sorry. Lori.
Okay,
But
speaking
yeah.
of famous vampires, question for you, Laura, is who is your favorite vampire in media?
Ooh,
Oh my god, don't do this to me. Oh my god.
We will also participate in this.
Shit.
If that helps.
I also have to think about it if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, Akasha, Queen Akasha from Queen of the Damned is always going to be top tier because R.I.P. Aaliyah, she was fabulous in that. You know what?
Definitely.
And you know what's worse about the fact that we lost her after that movie?
Yeah.
She was talking to Jonathan Davis of Korn about doing a collab after that movie came out.
The
Could
world
you
we could have had.
imagine?
Oh my god.
The world we could have had. The world we could have had.
Would have been in like a single EP or like a full album?
I don't know. Apparently the scuttlebutt is that there were talks happening, and I will forever mourn the loss of that beautiful, like, R&B new metal that we could have had.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing.
But no, Akasha up there.
Man.
I mean, for me, it's probably Akasha and Lestat, because I saw the original Interview with the Vampire movie when I was way too young. And that was like a formative movie for me because I saw this absolute crash out of a vampire and went, you know what? Yeah.
Oh, glorious.
The amount of times I go around the house just muttering to myself, shut up, Louis.
God, I have like, no matter what you do, you remember what you are.
You are a killer, Louis.
It's like it switches from like Tom Cruise's and like the new like
Sam Reed.
like,
Sam Reed is wonderful. Also, like,
so
I'm gonna say it right now. I don't think Tom Cruise has ever done a better role than Lestat de Leoncourt.
Oh,
he was
God, no.
unhinged. He didn't give a fuck. And those are the roles that are always going to be top tier for me. Anyway, give me your favorite vampires now that you've forced me to pick between my children.
All right. Okay. I have two. One is going to be okay, well, 2.5 because he's like half vampire and everything. So I am going to say Laszlo because honestly, I know he's like a vampire and not like a very scary vampire, but he's just like fucking hilarious. And the fact that he tries so hard to be like the menacing like Victorian Gothic romantic like vampire and fails so epically because his whole ego is just like, yes, it's just like glorious. Louis in the new Interview with the Vampire, absolutely perfection, because the one thing about the original Interview with the Vampire is Brad Pitt's performance in it, and I'm just screaming at this on my television, emote, goddamn you!
Brad Pitt was just kind of there.
Yeah, everyone was putting in their vavussi in the whole movie, and Brad Pitt is just like, I'm here to look pretty with my very long hair that he had no right to have. He had that glorious set of hair and just like I'm gonna try to look like I'm crying. I'm looking up right at the lights to make my eyes look like they're watering. Just like, but no, the new Louis is just so goddamn good, and
He's so fucking messy. They both are. Honestly, My favorite thing about the new Interview with the Vampire is the fact that they took all of the gay subtext and said, hold my beer.
God,
Now they're just gay.
As is proper.
As is proper. As is right and proper.
As is proper, especially with like when Armand comes into the mix and is just very much like that very toxic ex-partner who's just kind of like the fact that he mocked and sassed him, my brother, my sister, blah, 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 blah. I was like, God damn, you didn't have to hit so hard. You're right, but damn.
Abby, what you got?
Yeah.
So I have not consumed nearly as much vampire media as I should. So I'm gonna have some kind of basic answers.
That's all good.
Number one is I thoroughly enjoyed Dracula from Castlevania. He is just sad boy. I love his finale.
Classic sad bastard.
Season 2, like perfection. I also love all of the headcanons I have for his vampire generals that we know nothing about. But they look sick as hell. So like, give me that spin-off Castlevania. But also, this is my weird deep cut is Crepsley from Cirque du Freak. I thought I did not know if that was gonna register.
Holy deep cut, Batman.
I have been lore time. I am such a huge fan of Cirque du Freak. I have all of the books. I have the main books of like with Darren Shan. I have all 4 prequel books of Crepsley. I have like only the second volume of the manga of like Cirque du Freak and everything. I want to get them all and everything. I am so mad that the movie did such a bad job. Anywho, continue on.
But also John C. Reilly is great.
He did such a great job. He was like the shining beacon in that movie. But yes, Mr. Crepsley. Ooh.
Yeah, that's just like my weird deep cut. I just think he's great.
Also, Blade.
I was gonna say, Blade is like I was gonna say like my half, since he is like sort of like the demi, like the Dampier and everything, and just like it's so cool to see Blade being kind of like that teeter-toting, but he is so firmly rooted of like, I am human. I know that I'm a vampire, but y'all don't want to fuck with me here, and it's just so great to see.
That whole like. To this day, one of my favorite fight scenes will be that end fight scene from Blade 2 where he's going up against like the armed goons. That whole thing was just disrespectful. That is the most disrespectful fight I have ever seen. Just fully, what do you call it? He puts the guy on his shoulder and just falls and breaks the man's back. Like, that's just rude.
Very.
It's just rude.
See, I was going to say the most disrespectful thing that like Blade has done is like literally spin flip kick like the whole like bomb explosion like thing into the guy's neck in the first one and just says there's always some motherfucker trying to ice ski uphill. And I'm just like, what? Hold on, we need to like reflect back on your like one-liner. What? And it just explodes like
like I love those movies. Also, I'm just gonna say it, we wouldn't have gotten Marvel Cinematic Universe if they hadn't made Blade.
Exactly.
That is so true.
Exactly.
Say you're welcome, kids.
Say you're welcome to the director, the screenwriter.
Say thank you, friends.
Say thank you, friends, and also thank you, Wesley Snipes. Yeah. I will say, I think a dream like project for like anything when it comes to like vampires or like into like Vampire the Masquerade is like exploring Carmilla and everything, because I
always need more Carmilla.
Exactly. Yeah, just like we've got so much Dracula shit and everything, and Dracula's cool and everything, but we also need to respect the OG Queen
We've seen Dracula so many times, guys.
And
like,
we've seen the spin-offs of Dracula.
We've seen We've seen, like, we've got the original Nosferatu. We've got Bram Stoker's Dracula. We've got Bram Stoker's Dracula a la Francis Ford Coppola. We've got Castlevania. We've got Strad von Zarovich, that incel motherfucker.
You're the second person today to say that to me.
I hate him. Yeah. I hate him. It's on site. We've got this new Dracula, a love story. Also, like, fuck that director. He's a weirdo. There's some weird nonsense in there that I don't really want to touch.
Dracula Dead and loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get Dracula, Nosferatu. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved Robert Eggers' take on Nosferatu, but when are we gonna get Carmilla? When are we getting Carmilla? I'm looking at you, Guillermo del Toro.
Directly, yes.
I'm looking at you, sir.
Please give us the toxic doomed Yuri vampire. It would be so goddamn good. We did have like the modern adaptation web show of Carmilla, which is goated and underrated. Go check that out and everything. But also more. And don't give us just like one season of a vampire like sapphic romance relationship Netflix.
Netflix. But yeah, it's just, and all of these different archetypes, all of these different characters that we see in vampire lore, from Dracula to Carmilla to Lestat to Louis, they all get boiled down into the clans in one way or another. And I think that's just fucking cool.
Yeah, that is so, it is very cool to see and like analyze with like how the clans very much have their ways of clinging to humanity, of like the certain like philosophy that they are so driven to, but also with the banes and the curses along with it, because they're so driven to like for that power. And it's like very much like, you're floating so up high your wings are melting, bruh, what are you doing? Yeah. So with like vampires, like Vampire Masquerade in general, and you've been in so many of these actual plays and everything, what is your favorite kind of like story to tell within the Masquerade?
I mean, the one that's always going to come to front and center for me is going to be the story that we had for the All Night Society. Ooh. It's these younger kindred who are just trying to survive in the city of Chicago. And Aaron Hammond, God bless him, I love that man, I miss him every day. He is my storyteller now and forever, even if the show has since ceased to be. But Aaron always had a really amazing way of like letting us move forward as our characters. And because it was audio only, it's an audio drama format. He was so good at asking these really probing, direct questions to your character as the storyteller, to the point where like we were making jokes about how he was kind of like the fifth coterie member. Yeah. Like, because a lot of times you can get a storyteller that's in the same way that you get a DM who's just sort of narrating what's happening, and the characters are going along as if this like disembodied voice of God doesn't exist. But we would all react to Aaron as the storyteller. Nine times out of 10, my gangrel Calamity would talk shit right back to him. But yeah, it's the dealing with this darkness, this hunger of your beast, trying to survive in a city of other monsters who are just as desperate to survive and willing to do just about anything for it. I think that is the hardest thing and the most interesting thing with vampires. At the end of the day, you cannot trust anyone, even the people that you call your coterie. Because 9 times out of 10, if given the opportunity to take that next step up the ladder of power, they will kick the rung out from under you to get there. But Aaron always made it to where, like, we were in this together. The thing that got me the most at one point, we were talking about like how things were going to develop going on, and the fact that like we were going to have one character that was going to start spiraling and going on a negative character arc, which I love, and I'm so sad we didn't get there. But the thing that stuck with me was at one point he said, even the monsters have to look out for one another.
Aww.
So we were writing, it was the ability to ride that line of being monstrous and being power hungry and being ruthless, but still, in spite of that, knowing that you cannot do it alone. Those are the stories. Those are the stories that I like. It may not end well, but while you're going, you've got to make sure that there are people at your back.
If we go down, then we go down together.
There you go.
We're all in this together. Oh God! Could you imagine a Vampire Masquerade musical for the Disney Channel? Oh Lord!
I mean,
Give me.
apparently we're getting
give me
Vampire the Masquerade on D20 now, so we'll see how that
right.
goes.
Slay.
Oh God! I'm excited to see
I'm-
how they play.
That is not the kind of game that I would play in this world, but you know what? Brennan is a damn good storyteller and a damn good GM, so I'm going to extend some trust here.
Yeah.
But I'm a snob, so I have feelings.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely interested as well because I know people were disappointed with Never After when it was like set to be like the horror campaign, but yet it was still very comedic and everything with like these great like horror elements and descriptions that still happened. And like the characters like making it into like a horror comedy, which is always fun and dandy.
We love a black comedy. We love a black comedy.
Exactly.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we also know how D20 operates. Like everything is like comedic, jokey, and then Brennan and the players and the intrepid heroes will just gut punch you at some point. So there's
God.
there's gonna be a turn, and it's going to break everyone, I'm sure.
Yeah. It got me most definitely when I finished Cloud Ho, because I was like laughing throughout the entire thing, and then the last few episodes, I was like, God damn you all. God damn you all to hell.
So yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. I really hope. I do I imagine that's probably gonna be the kind of thing that there are probably folks on that end who don't fuck with horror. So you know what? Maybe this will be someone's first taste of vampire, and they'll want to dive in more and see what else is possible. So that's all I can ask for, honestly. Whenever whenever like somebody big picks up one of these games that I love so much, at the end of the day, I got to be like, I mean, hey, more faces, more eyes on this is better. More people who love it.
Play with.
Yeah, more people in the community who want to tell these stories. At the end of the day, that's what matters.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I got into Vampire the Masquerade. How I found it was like watching. First, it was the special critical little one shot that they did for like Halloween from the very early years and everything. And then I found with LA by Night when they were still within like Geek and Sundry and everything, and I was like, Jasper, literally my favorite. That is my precious boy. He has done nothing wrong, along with my chaotic gay child ex, who's like, I know you are the devil, but you're my devil, and I will take responsibility of all your actions.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Laura.
Oh no, yeah, LA by Night was what solidified it for me because to be perfectly honest, that was the first time I'd seen not white people play that game with B. Dave Walters, Cynthia Marie, and Erika Ishii. So that was like, oh, okay, so this I don't have to make a fuss when I want to try and do shit in here because they're established. See, fuck you guys. But yeah, I love the By Night crew. Delightful people. Love Jason Carl with all my heart. Adore B. Dave. Adore Sin. It's what they put together for LA by Night, and then what we got for New York by Night was just some damn good storytelling.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my primary exposure to Vampire the Masquerade has actually been through you, Laura. I knew of LA by Night, but I never got around to actually like sitting and watching it. But it was just kind of in my periphery, and then I started volunteering at Dragon Con, and Ken Haidt was one of our regular guests.
Nice.
Who worked on Vampire 5, and I was like, this is great, this is awesome, this is so cool. And then like you were hitting my FYP way more often, and I was like, I know a little bit about this, and they look really cool. So yeah, most of my exposure has actually been through you.
I honest to God, guys, I just kind of bumblefucked my way through TTRPG talk. As with most of us, we were bored in the house, bored in the house during the pandemic Lovato, and this was the not end times. And like I wasn't doing community theater anymore. I wasn't performing regularly, but I've got all these people in my phone and a little app that lets me do funny little skits. And apparently there are people that play these games and will stream them, and like I can still perform while not having to go sit in a theater for 6 hours. I miss live theater. I don't miss Tech Week. That's all I'll say.
Valid.
I don't miss Tech Week. I love getting done up for a stream, getting done and walking 20 feet that way to go to bed.
In pajama
I love
pants,
that shit.
Too. You get to wear
Same.
like comfy pajama pants. You don't have to wear itchy costumes that don't fit. Like,
Yep. God, it's glorious.
yeah, I miss live theater, but I don't miss Tech Week. Is the mood du jour? Like,
I don't miss Tech Week, and I also don't miss the people, those certain actors who will just sort of like, well, why can't the tech people just hurry up and everything? Well, I'm just going the death glare of like, do you want them to let you good, or do you want to look shit? And
Do you
everything
want to
just-
look like ass or not?
Exactly. You can put all of that foundation on, you will still look white as a ghost, fucker. Shut up.
mine is the ones that have to argue with the notes, and you're just like, can we just get through the notes and fix it?
I want to go home. It's midnight.
Look, I know you have a giant complex actor, but you're not the director.
Right,
Shut
exactly.
up. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that is pretty much everything about we wanted to talk about with Vampire.
Yeah.
Is there any closing remarks that you want to say about like Vampire the Masquerade, or for people stepping into the world of darkness in general?
Yeah, I mean, it is a horror game, friends, foes, and fiends. I want you to make sure that you're being safe with it. So talk to your players, talk to your storyteller, use those safety tools, and do not be afraid to pause and find a better way forward if what you're trying isn't working. That's it. I want everybody to enjoy this blood-soaked horror show as much as I do, but I want them to be safe about it.
Hells yeah.
Traumatize your characters, not yourself.
Exactly. And that's why cooldowns are important, y'all.
Exactly. Cooldown's good and everything and all that. All right. So thank you, everybody, for watching the video and listening to the podcast and everything. Also, thank you to our special guest and everything. Laura, thank you for having us and everything. Thank you for being, like, accepting the email and I sent you, because I was just like, hey, I've always been a fan and everything and all that.
We've been circling each other for years now, dude.
I know, because I've always wanted to be able to collaborate you, because there's like only the one time like I duetted one of your videos. It was like your barbarian OC in a D&D skit where you're doing like, oh, you're mimicking me and everything. That is sincerely one of my favorite precious like skits. And I'm just like, I keep to my chest of like, these are my crown jewels. I don't care how many views it gets. It's mine. Yeah, I will. It's my precious gem. So yeah.
We all have that video that we're like, this is my baby.
But no, I'm glad to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for calling me in.
This has been so fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, Laura, where can people find you and everything? Shout out your socials, everything, and what projects you're working on and stuff.
Yeah. As is and will continue to be, I am Laura or Tutu or Laura Tutu, pronouns she, they. If you want to figure out what I'm going to do and where I'm going to be, the easiest way to do that is to check out my website, lauratutu.com. You can also find me Wednesdays over on Rebels Without a Castle for Stone Lord's Folly, a delightful little D&D 5e romp, and in Shadows over Baldur's Gate on Fridays over at Crit Hit Chronicles for our little spiritual sequel to Baldur's Gate 3. There is more Vampire coming. Actually, guys, when is this one coming out?
This is going to be coming out. We still got some videos to record, and that's going to be like published up and everything, because I think like our next recording is not going to be until like next week, and we're not going to like be putting this out until like we got everything set up. So
Okay.
Like,
So it's soon to be like late April, early May at earliest.
yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't want to bump this if it was going to come after the fact, but if you want to play Vampire in a live setting, if you want to LARP and play a vampire, you can find me at Darkness Emergent Los Angeles with By Night Studios. It's equal parts LARP and con. You'll get to hang out with some of the folks from LA by Night. Jason Carl's going to be there. Cynthia Marie, B. Dave Walters, Erica Ishii, Xander Jeanneret. The whole crew is going to be there, done up as their characters. We've got panels. We've got some social events. So if you want to give it a go, check out By Night Studios and grab those tickets for Darkness Emergent Los Angeles.
And when is that?
It is May 21st through 25th.
Okay.
Yay. Hells yeah. All right. Witty, where people can find you and any special stuff that you're doing and everything?
You can find me at WittyXWitch across any social that I am on. And you can find me on Saturdays on World Tree Quest playing Dragon Age. And that's it for now.
All righty. And I'm Dice&Autism and everything. I am doing all the stuff of making sad and funny stories and everything. My campaign of New Rollis has probably, when this gets released, is conclusion and everything. New Rollis is done, baby. It makes me happy and sad, but you know what? That's all good and everything. Gives me more time to plan things out and new stuff.
For more games.
For more games and maybe a new campaign I have brewing in the back of my mind. So yeah.
I mean, hey, perfect time to start a Vampire Chronicle.
I would love to do a Vampire Chronicle for Tales Guild, which is the actual play channel that you should go check out and everything. I would love to do it. I do have a campaign set in mind and everything. I have it written out. Brain, ADHD, come back.
Go for it, dude.
Reel it in.
Reel it in. Put it in the jar. On the shelf. Visible. This is just like the chaotic goodness here. But yeah, you guys know where to follow me and everything. Follow these two lovely beings over here and stuff. And yeah, we will see you all later, okay, guys? All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.